My fiancé said you need to choose your family or me. I said nothing. I 29 male was sitting at my parents' dining room table in Columbus, Ohio, at exactly 7:42 p.m. on a Sunday when those words came out of her mouth. The room went completely quiet. My mom had just set down a bowl of mashed potatoes. My dad was sipping his coffee, even though it was too late for caffeine. And my fiancée Jessica, 28, was staring at me like she was daring me to blink. I didn't answer. I just froze. I can still hear the clock ticking on the wall. I had been dating Jessica for 3 years. We'd been engaged for 7 months, thought we were solid. Sure, she never fully clicked with my family, but I figured it was just different personalities. Never in my life did I expect her to demand that I pick between them and her. The crazy part is this wasn't even a huge argument night. We had come over for Sunday dinner like usual. Mom made pot roast, my dad poured wine. Everything was normal. Jessica was on her phone. Most of the night, when my sister Rachel asked her to pass the bread, Jessica rolled her eyes. Rachel is 25, sarcastic, but not mean. Jessica muttered something under her breath. Then Rachel said, "What's your problem?" That's when Jessica turned to me and said, "You need to choose your family or me." It felt like the floor dropped out. "Are you kidding me?" Rachel asked instantly. "Don't drag him into this," Jessica snapped. My mom said, "Okay, everyone calm down." But Jessica's eyes didn't leave mine. In my head I was screaming, "Just happened. Is this real?" Out loud, I said nothing. I just sat there gripping my fork so hard. My knuckles hurt. That night in the car she said, "I mean it. Your family disrespects me constantly. If you don't cut them off, I can't marry you," I said. "Jess, they don't disrespect you. They just don't know you well yet." She said, "That's a personal problem. Fix it or lose me." I went home with my stomach twisted. I couldn't sleep. At 3:14 a.m. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through our old texts. I realized she had been making little comments about my family for months. About my mom's overbearing cooking, my dad's boring and stories, my sister being immature. I had brushed it off. Now it all hit me at once. The next week I started paying closer attention. At dinner with friends, Jessica casually said, "At least my fiancé won't have to rely on his parents forever." Everyone laughed awkwardly. My best friend Chris texted me later, "Dude, what's up with Jess?" That was cold. I didn't know what to say. By Thursday I decided to test something. I invited Jessica over but didn't tell her my family was stopping by. At 6:07 p.m. my parents knocked. The second Jessica saw them, she stiffened. My dad said, "Hey Jess, how's work?" She said, "Fine." Looked at me like I had betrayed her. When they left she exploded. "Why would you ambush me like that?" I said, "They're my parents. They wanted to see us." She said, "You don't get it. I'm not going to live my life controlled by your family." That night I started taking notes. I wrote down every comment, every time she brought it up, every threat of me or them. At first I didn't know why I was doing it. Maybe to make sense of it. 2 weeks later, the situation escalated. Jessica showed up at my office unannounced at 11:22 a.m. She slammed a Starbucks on my desk and said, "So have you decided?" I looked at her stunned. "Decided what?" She said, "Them or me." I said, "Jess, I can't just abandon my family." She said, "Then don't expect me to stick around." My coworker Melissa heard everything. Later she pulled me aside and said, "That's not normal. Are you okay?" I told her I was fine. I wasn't. The breaking point came 3 days before Thanksgiving. Jessica called me at 9:03 p.m. She said, "I told my mom we're not going to your parents' house. Well, be with my family." I said, "Jess, we already promised my mom we'd be there." She said, "I don't care. If you go, don't bother coming back." I swear my chest physically hurt. I drove straight to my parents' house. My dad was in the garage fixing his bike. I told him everything. Every word, every threat. He listened, then said, "Son, this isn't love. This is control." That night I slept in my old room. I ignored Jessica's 14 missed calls. The next morning I found something on my phone. She had sent a long text. "I'm not the villain. Your family has poisoned you. If you can't see that, then we have no future. I'll give you until Friday to choose." I showed the message to Rachel. She said, "She's manipulating you. Please don't cave on Thanksgiving Day. I went to my parents without her. She never showed, instead at 1:16 p.m. on Instagram. Sometimes you realize blood doesn't mean loyalty. New family. She was sitting at her mom's table smiling. My cousin sent me the screenshot that night. Jessica came to my apartment. She tossed her bag on the couch and said, "So did you make your choice?" I said nothing. Just silence. She said, "Fine, I'll make it for you. We're done." And she walked out. I thought that was the end. But the real story hadn't even started yet. The next day Chris texted me, "Bro, you should see what she just posted." It was Jessica again, this time claiming I had emotionally abandoned her and let his toxic family drive us apart. People were commenting things like, "You're better off without him." I sat there numb, until Melissa walked into my office at 10:45 a.m., holding her phone. She said, "Look at this." It was a private message Jessica had sent to her, trying to get her to tell the truth that I had flirted with Melissa at work. Melissa showed me the whole thread. It was desperate. I realized Jessica wasn't just trying to separate me from my family. She was trying to destroy me completely. That's when I stopped being quiet. I 29 male had been quiet for too long. After Melissa showed me the messages, something inside me shifted. Wasn't going to just sit there and let Jessica trash my name. At 6:12 p.m. that Friday, I started gathering everything. Screenshots of her texts, the Instagram posts, the timestamps, the desperate DMs to Melissa. I even pulled my phone records showing her dozens of late-night calls. I made a folder called Jessica Evidence. The next morning, I called my friend Mark, who happens to be an attorney. He's 33, went to law school with my cousin. I told him everything. He listened, then said, "You need to protect yourself. If she escalates, you want to be ready. Save everything. Don't delete a single text." By Sunday, Jess was blowing up my phone again at 11:47 a.m. She left me a voicemail. "I don't want this to end. Ugly. Just admit your family brainwashed you and we can fix it." I didn't respond. Instead, I played the voicemail for my dad. He shook his head and said, "She's trying to rewrite reality." That week the smear campaign escalated. Jessica told mutual friends I had anger issues. She told her coworkers I was controlling. The most insane part, at 24 p.m. on a Wednesday, she sent me a Venmo request for $4 with the note, "Reimbursement for emotional damages." I laughed out loud when I saw it, but then I saved the screenshot. Melissa became my unexpected ally. She showed me every message Jessica sent her, pages of accusations, trying to rope her in as some kind of witness. One of the messages literally said, "If you don't back me up, I'll tell people you slept with him." Melissa said, "I don't scare easy." She forwarded everything. Meanwhile, my sister Rachel went full detective. She found Jessica's Reddit account at 1:02 a.m. Rachel sent me screenshots. Jessica had been posting on relationship subs under the username throwawaybride87 posts, like, "My fiancé refuses to cut off his toxic family. Should I leave him, and how? I prove my fiancé is cheating with his coworker." The comments were full of strangers saying, "Girl, you deserve better." Rachel texted me, "She's building a narrative. You need to get ahead of this." That's when I posted my own update. Not on Reddit yet, but to close friends on Instagram. I wrote, "I've been quiet, but I want to make something clear. I love my family. I have never cheated." Screenshots available, if needed. The backlash hit her fast. People started DMing me saying she told us a different story. So I shared the screenshots. The text where she demanded I choose, the voicemail, the Venmo request, the DMs. Melissa, once people saw the receipts, her version crumbled. At 9:18 p.m. that night, she showed up at my apartment. She banged on the door so hard my neighbor came out. I finally opened it. Jessica said, "You ruined me. Everyone's turning against me because of you." I said, "No, because of your own words. We can still fix this, if you just admit your family is toxic." I said, "Sounds like consequences." And I shut the door. She screamed in the hallway for a solid 5 minutes. My neighbor filmed it, sent me the video. Another piece of evidence. 2 days later, Jessica's mom called me. At exactly 10, "You need to apologize to my daughter. She's been humiliated." I said, "Ma'am, your daughter tried to blackmail me and smear my name. I owe her nothing." She said, "If you don't fix this, she'll sue you for defamation." I said, "Good luck with that. I have every screenshot." And then I hung up. That weekend I met with Mark again. He said she has no case. If anything, you could hit her with harassment. But honestly, just block her and move on. You've already won. But I didn't block her yet because I wanted to see what she'd do next. And sure enough, she gave me the final nail. On December 2nd at 11:11 p.m., she texted, "Fine, don't come back. I'll tell everyone you hit me." I stared at my phone in shock. Then I screenshotted it, forwarded it to Mark. He said, "That's attempted extortion. Keep it safe." I finally blocked her number. After that, it was like watching a fire burn itself out. Her posts stopped getting sympathy. Unfollowed her at a Christmas party. One of her own friends told me, "Yeah, she tried to get us on her side, but it was too much. Nobody believes her anymore." Meanwhile, my life got quieter. My family hugged me tighter. My sister said, "I'm proud of you for not folding." Melissa said, "You handled this better." Anyone I know, even my boss who had seen some of the drama spill into work, pulled me aside and said, "Glad you cut ties. That's toxic." By January, Jessica was completely out of my orbit, except for one last thing. I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, no return address, but obviously from her. It said, "Chose wrong. One day you'll regret it." I laughed, put it in the evidence folder. Then I shoved the folder in a box and put it on a shelf. Life moved on. 6 months later, I met someone new, Emily, 27, who worked in marketing. She met my family on the second date. My mom adored her. My dad told his long, boring stories and Emily laughed at everyone. Rachel said, "She's the opposite of Jessica." Thank God. Here's the twist. Last month, I heard through the grapevine that Jessica tried the same me or them stunt with her new boyfriend. He chose his family. She's single again. Justice served to everyone who followed the journey. Thank you. I've read your advice, your DMs, your "are you kidding me" reactions. You helped me keep my sanity. Edit. For those asking, yes, I kept every screenshot. No, I didn't press charges. Honestly, the best revenge was just letting her dig her own grave. P.S. Jessica, if you're still reading, you told me choose. I did, and I chose peace.